It's been a wild regular season.
It's been unbelievable. Michigan currently holds the highest team score in the nation, but Illinois beat them earlier this season. But guess who's ranked higher than Illinois and Michigan? The other regular season co-champion, Nebraska.
All right, let's go to work and start to set the table with the all-around story.
Well, Fred Richard is your defending Big Ten and NCAA all-around champion and defending high bar and parallel bar champion, so if he's on, he'll be tough to catch. But there are a few who have a chance. Tate Costa from the Illini. Last night was as dramatic as you could ever ask for a team final, but tonight it's all about bragging rights. Expect some upgraded routines and some world-class gymnastics.
You have your eye on tonight here.
Well, we've got a lot of athletes to watch, but notably Fred Richard opting to sit this one out, focus on a little bit of load management, but that does not mean that there is any shortage of athletes to watch tonight. Namely, Paul Judah. When is he not an athlete?
Welcome everybody to the Covelli Center, live from Columbus, Ohio, on the campus of The Ohio State University for tonight's NCAA Championship qualifiers. We'll have 6 teams competing during this session, and the rankings tell the story. Number 2 in the nation, Oklahoma.
His amplitude is what makes him stand out from the competition. Watch how high he gets off this vault table. And that right there is what we've been waiting for all night long. Massive amplitude, good form in the air, and a stuck landing. Amari Sewell for the Illini will certainly take the lead after that. He just launches himself off the table. Great distance away from the table as well. Believe it or not, that's something the judges are looking for. How much height and how much distance do you get off the table? And I tell you what, Dean, he's got some sticky feet. There were a few mishaps earlier on, but if he can stick the dismount, this might be the difference maker, and he does. Landon Blix.
You might be the only person in the world to say that. You might be. Paul is one of those guys that, yes, he's an incredible athlete. He's a phenomenal gymnast. But in the gym, you can see him do something that just looks impossible on the gym floor, and then you'll turn around and he's just dancing like he's on a TikTok video 2 seconds later. And it's the same guy. He's a cheerleader, a teammate, and an athlete.
Let's send it down to Brandon Burns, who's with all of our winners.
Thanks, Dean. I'm here with our Big Ten champs, starting with our floor champion, Landon Blix, co-champion rather. Landon, you knew that you had to stick that dismount, and you had a clutch performance. Walk us through that experience. Well, congratulations on a great performance. Connor McCool, you go back-to-back on this event. You won it last year away, this year at home. How does this one compare?
Yeah.
Congratulations on a great performance. Can't wait to watch you at NCAAs. Brandon Dang, the phenom freshman on Pommel Horse, a 16.5 start value on the toughest event. How do you handle that kind of pressure? Well, congratulations, another fantastic performance, and I'm sure we'll see you fighting for an NCAA title as well. Here with the Lord of the Rings, Ashton Anaya, you went back-to-back-to-back. How do you sustain that kind of performance year over year?
Elevation requires change. How many of us, we want to change our circumstances but not our behaviors? We want to change our bank accounts but not our character, our relationships but not our spirits. If you want some change, you got to get comfortable with change. If you want to change outcomes, you have to change the input. And at the end of the day, once you do this long enough, you start to figure out that the input to every outcome in your life is you. So we're about to bring up somebody now who has a ton of experience with this concept of change. He embodies faith and works. He's an unbelievable inspiration to many of us. Don't let his arms fool you. They're not bigger than mine. He did a bunch of push-ups before he came up here. The 9-to-5 millionaire, Jamal King.
Great is your faithfulness.
So I text one of my guys. I'm like, what are y'all doing? He says, celebrating. I said, celebrating what? You sucked today. What are you celebrating? He said, we won. Why do you have to be like that? I said, is that really your standard? Is winning really your standard? Because that's the lowest possible standard that you can have. Winning is the lowest possible standard. Because that means you're playing by other people's rules. That means that you judge yourself based on what other people do. What you celebrate, you are bound to replicate. That means what? If I celebrate mediocrity, what am I probably going to get more of? Mediocrity. So do me a favor, if you're sitting at a 3.2 GPA right now and you know good and well that you could be at a 4 if you applied yourself, fix it. Stop being okay with a 3.2. Now, I'm not saying everybody can get a 4.0. Maybe you can, maybe you can. But if you're at a 2.9 and you could be at a 3.4, why aren't you at a 3.4? How much better could you get? Ask yourself that question every day.
Hey, Brandon Burns here from OSS One Simple Suite. And if you're watching this right now, then chances are you're a personal brand, a course creator, coach, consultant, speaker, or other online entrepreneur, but you probably feel stuck. You feel like you have this limitless potential, but you haven't been able to scale to the level that you feel you should yet. And listen, we've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs overcome exactly that challenge by helping them systemize and scale their business. We've worked with people at the top of the top, from Dr. Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world, to Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, but we've also helped people who are just starting out on their online entrepreneurial journey. So we've got an online masterclass you can join from the comfort of your own home. It's completely free. It's coming up right around the corner, and we want to give you some insane bonuses just for registering to be there. We're going to teach you two things. Number one, the tactics, the step-by-step blueprints that you need, and number two, the tangible tools that you can use to execute. So I hope that I see you there. Click the link below, and let's get to work. The walls were so steep that this guy was scratching, he was clawing, he was doing everything he could to try and climb out of there. And no matter what he did, he could not get out of that hole. He was just stuck. But he could see people on the surface walking by. And eventually he sees a guy walk by in a white lab coat, looked like a doctor. He said, Doctor, I'm stuck down here. What can you do to help me? And the doctor kind of looked over into the hole, assessed the situation. He took out a pen and a pad from his lab coat. He wrote out a prescription, tore it off, threw it in the hole, and walked away. And our guy's like, what in the world is this supposed to do for me? I'm stuck down here. I need help, and I don't see a way out. What is this going to do for me? And so he starts to get even more hopeless. And he's clawing, and he's scratching, and he's trying to get out, and nothing that he's doing is working. And sooner or later, he sees a pastor walk by. He's in his priestly robes, and he goes, Father, I'm stuck down here. Is there anything that you can do to help me? Of course, the preacher was a little bit more receptive to the man, so he stopped, and he spoke with him for a few moments. But it was Sunday. Eventually, he had to go. Pulled out a pen and a pad from his robes, wrote out a prayer, tore it off, threw it in the hole, and walked away. And now this guy who was stuck down there starts to feel so hopeless. He starts to feel like there's absolutely no way out of his current situation. He feels like he was so capable. He had this whole life ahead of him, and now it's all gone. Because he can't get out of this spot. He can't get unstuck. And sooner or later, he sees a friend walk by, and in one last-ditch effort of desperation, he says, Hey, man, it's me. And I'm stuck, and I need help. And the friend did something different. He looked over, he saw what was going on, he took a deep breath, and he jumped. And our guy's stuck down there going, what in the world are you doing? Now we're both stuck down here. And the friend said, yeah, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out.